Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, if the constant stream of AI news, new chips, new models, these huge corporate money targets feels like, well, a lot, you're definitely not alone. Things are shifting so fast, almost hourly, it seems. So today, we're aiming to give you that essential shortcut. We've gone through this week's sources, the headlines, and we're filtering out the noise. We want to give you the strategic moves that really matter. Our mission really is to pull out the so what from all these announcements. We're going deep on, I think, three key areas. Who's actually building the foundation, the infrastructure for what's next? Then who's winning the daily fight for your work tools, your productivity? And finally, who's pushing AI power out towards the user, to the edge?
Yeah, it's fascinating. When you look at the sources together, you see these two massive forces pushing and pulling at the same time. You got the big players, the giants, really doubling down on vertical integration. They're building their own custom hardware,
Yeah.
trying to lock down their tech advantage, control costs. But then, at the exact same time, you see this huge push for democratization. Really powerful AI is moving out of the big data centers onto your phone, your laptop, away from the, sometimes slow and pricey cloud.
It's a real tug of war, isn't it? Control versus access, money versus, well, more distribution of power.
Precisely, a real push and pull.
Okay, let's definitely unpack that tension. Let's start with maybe the biggest bet, the most ambitious signal we saw this week. It touches hardware, it touches finance, and it's mainly focused on OpenAI. This feels like a story about cutting ties and aiming for a number that's almost hard to grasp.
It really is. OpenAI is pushing hard for independence. The big problem they're trying to solve first, their massive reliance on NVIDIA GPUs. Those chips are incredibly powerful, yes, but also super expensive. And it creates this huge supply chain headache for them.
So their answer to that headache seems pretty aggressive. This big partnership they announced with Broadcom, they're going to co-develop custom AI chips. Why Broadcom, though? I mean, there are other chip designers out there.
Well, Broadcom's strength isn't just chip design. They're experts in high-speed networking tech, which is crucial for AI training. And maybe more importantly, they're really good at high-volume, custom silicon manufacturing. So this partnership, it's as much about logistics and reliability, getting the chips they need when they need them, as it is about the actual computing power.
Oh.
The end goal is that vertical integration you mentioned, getting control over the hardware that trains the big models, not just the software running on top.
And if you control the silicon, you control the efficiency, the cost, which brings us back to the money. Because the financial side here is, well, it's staggering. Our sources really highlight this almost unbelievable pressure. OpenAI apparently has 5 years. 5 years to reach $1 trillion valuation, up from, what, $13 billion in funding now?
Exactly. And that number, that $1 trillion target, it explains almost everything else they're doing.
Yeah.
Cutting dependency on a pricey supplier like NVIDIA, making sure their own custom chips are used perfectly efficiently.
Yeah.
They could save them billions down the line on training and running these models.
Billion.
When you're chasing a deadline like that, optimizing costs isn't just nice to have, it's absolutely essential, non-negotiable.
So custom silicon isn't just a tech choice anymore. It's pure economics.
Precisely. It's an imperative. And it explains these big partnerships too. Oracle for cloud, Microsoft, obviously, now Broadcom for chips. It's all part of this foundational bet that controlling the infrastructure is the path to dominance.
And maybe the only path to hitting that non-Dalton number.
It could well be. If you can't get those costs under control, especially with competition heating up, that target just looks impossible. This deep infrastructure control gives them a shot at profitability while they keep pushing the boundaries with bigger, more complex AI models.
Okay, so that's the giant infrastructure war. Huge costs, huge ambition, all happening in the cloud. But it does make you wonder, how does all this massive spending trickle down to, the average person trying to get work done?
Let's shift gears completely. Let's talk about the practical AI wars, the fight for your inbox, your chat apps, your everyday workflow. Yeah, this is where, like you said, the rubber meets the road for most people.
Yeah.
AI stops being this abstract thing in a data center and becomes a tool you actually use, hopefully, to make your day easier.
Yeah.
And the battleground right now is really inside the tools you already use. Whichever platform makes using AI the most seamless, removes the most friction, that's the one likely to win your loyalty.
And the updates are coming thick and fast. Look at Slack this week. They pushed out a really major upgrade to Slackbot. It's not just a simple bot anymore. They've basically turned it into a proper AI assistant. It can summarize long conversations, pull out action items, generate meeting notes, and it can answer complex questions based on your workspace history. It's all powered by Salesforce's AI underneath.
That's definitely a big move for Slack. They're trying to make themselves indispensable, right? Stop you needing to scroll back through endless threads or manually summarize meetings.
Hmm.
But, and this is the big question, Slack is still playing in a much smaller pond than Google or Microsoft, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is this really enough to compete with something like Microsoft Copilot, which has access to your emails, your documents, your Teams chats, the whole ecosystem?
That's the skepticism, absolutely. But maybe their angle is platform loyalty, platform stickiness. People who use Slack often live in Slack all day.
Yeah.
If the AI works perfectly right there in that context, maybe it captures the nuances of those conversations better than an external tool dipping in.
That's a fair point, leveraging the existing habit. Okay,
Mhm.
so while Slack's doing that, Google isn't standing still either. They're pushing Gemini deeper into Workspace.
Mm.
The update that caught my eye was how Gemini can now handle meeting scheduling right within Gmail.
Yeah, it's pretty slick. It doesn't just take an instruction like schedule a meeting. It reads the email thread, understands the context, figures out who needs to be invited, proposes times based on everyone's calendar availability, and then actually sends the invites. It handles a whole back and forth.
So it's shifting from just being reactive, doing what you tell it, to being more proactive. It sees you discussing a meeting and offers to set it up. That friction around finding a time that works for everyone, it's a huge time sink in business. If AI can smooth that out, that's a real win.
Definitely. And Microsoft's making moves too, but on a slightly different front. Content creation. They're developing their own in-house AI image generator.
Ah, interesting. Moving away from third parties.
Exactly. Reducing reliance on external models, maybe like DLE or similar tech. The goal seems to be tighter, smoother integration directly within Microsoft 365 apps, Copilot, Azure.
Right, so you don't have to leave Word or PowerPoint to generate an image you need. Cuts out that context switching.
Precisely. So the big takeaway for you listening to this is probably that AI isn't just a feature anymore. It's not an add-on.
No, it's becoming deeply woven into the fabric of how we work. Whether it's summarizing, scheduling, or creating visuals, it's about reducing clicks, saving time, removing friction from those core tasks.
So if that first segment was all about the massive cost and effort to centralize power in the cloud, the next logical step, maybe the countermove, is AI spreading out of the cloud onto your desk, into your device, that democratization trend you mentioned earlier.
Absolutely. When the barrier to entry for top-tier cloud AI gets so high custom chips, billions in funding it, naturally sparks innovation to bypass that bottleneck.
Right.
Find ways to do powerful things locally.
And maybe surprisingly, NVIDIA is a key player here. We usually think of them powering those enormous data centers, but they just unveiled something called Spark. It's described as a compact, personal AI supercomputer.
Yeah, this is quite a strategic shift for NVIDIA, or at least an expansion. Spark is designed to bring serious AI computing power down to individuals or small research teams. It lets people train models, experiment, develop AI applications right there on their own machine, without needing constant access to the cloud, without the associated costs, without the latency.
So it gives developers back some independence and speeds things up.
Totally. Faster iteration, more control, lower barriers for smaller players, or even individuals who want to tinker with powerful AI.
And on the software side, the AI model side, Anthropic seems to be playing a similar game with making things more accessible.
They updated their Claude Haiku model. That's their smaller, lighter model, right? Focused on speed and efficiency.
That's right. Haiku isn't meant to be the absolute biggest or most powerful model like their Claude Opus. It's optimized for being fast, responsive, and cost-effective. The latest update improves its reasoning skills and makes it even quicker. So it's ideal for things that need real-time responses, think sophisticated customer service bots or AI features embedded directly into other software. So it opens up advanced AI to maybe businesses or use cases that couldn't afford the massive cost of running the biggest models for every little interaction.
Exactly. It broadens the accessibility. You've got Opus for the heavy lifting, Sonnet in the middle, and Haiku for speed and efficiency.
But maybe the company with the most joined-up strategy, from the chip right up to the device in your hand, is still Apple. They're rolling out their new M5 chip across the board, new iPad Pro, MacBook Pro, even the Vision Pro headset. What's the big strategic message they're sending with that unified rollout?
It's all about doubling down on on-device intelligence. The M5 isn't just faster overall. It has significant upgrades to the neural engine. That's a part of the chip specifically designed to run AI tasks, particularly the transformer models that power a lot of modern AI locally on the device itself.
So faster AI performance without needing the cloud.
Right. By putting this powerful AI-ready silicon in everything from iPads to Macs to the Vision Pro, they ensure that AI features run smoothly and consistently across their entire ecosystem. It's a unified platform strategy.
And doing the processing locally on the device, that has huge implications for privacy, doesn't it?
Massive. Because if the AI calculations happen right there on your machine, your personal data often doesn't need to be sent off to a server somewhere. It stays within Apple's secure system.
That's a pretty compelling advantage they can offer users right out of the box.
It absolutely is. It creates this clear trade-off for the user. Maybe you go cloud for the absolute biggest models, but for everyday tasks, the on-device approach offers speed, responsiveness, and that inherent privacy. It's a direct challenge to the cloud-first strategies of others.
Okay, so we've seen the battle for infrastructure, the fight for the workplace, and this push towards the edge. Let's wrap up with a couple of interesting updates that touch on the content AI creates and the boundaries platforms are setting. This shows how the tech progress is forcing some, well, social and ethical questions too.
Yeah, these platforms aren't just getting technically smarter, they're having to mature and figure out the rules of the road as they scale up and impact more people. Governance becomes key.
On the technical side first, Google launched VO 3.1. That's their latest AI video generation model. And it's now integrated into something called the Flow video editor. The sources say the big improvements are in realism, how well it handles motion, and giving users more precise editing control.
So users can generate video clips and then tweak them, refine them, aiming for what Google calls professional grade results, all within this editor.
It feels like the quality bar for AI-generated video is just leaping upwards incredibly fast, blurring the lines.
It really is. But as the tech gets better, especially in creative areas, platforms inevitably bump up against content moderation challenges. Which brings us to OpenAI again. Sam Altman mentioned that ChatGPT will likely soon allow users to generate erotica, provided they're verified adults.
Whoa, okay. That feels like a pretty significant shift in policy. How are they planning to manage that? That seems complex.
Well, the plan involves much stricter age verification systems, obviously, and more sophisticated content safeguards. It's not just flipping a switch. They seem to be framing it as part of a broader move towards offering more mature, customizable AI experiences. Trying to find that tricky balance.
Balance between what? User freedom and platform safety.
Exactly. Balancing user demand for more open expression and customization against the huge responsibility of managing content safely and ethically on a global platform. It forces them to be really explicit about their rules and boundaries for different kinds of users and content.
So these content updates show two sides of the coin. AI getting technically much more capable, like with VO creating realistic video, but also platforms having to confront the unavoidable social complexities that come with that power and scale. They have to decide what kind of platform they want to be.
Well put. Technical progress and social responsibility going hand in hand, or at least having to.
What a week. It really feels like we've pinpointed this core tension running through the industry right now. On one hand, you have this relentless drive towards $1 trillion dominance, which seems to demand controlling custom hardware, centralizing massive compute power, think OpenAI and Broadcom.
Right, that centralizing force.
But then, running completely parallel, you have innovation pushing power out to the edges, making AI accessible, fast, and private on your own device via things like Apple's M5, NVIDIA's Spark, or Anthropic's efficient Haiku model.
Exactly. So hopefully you listening now have a better sense of the why behind these headlines. It's not just random news. Every big move, whether it's a custom chip deal, a new software feature like Gemini scheduling, or a personal AI computer like Spark. It's fundamentally about one of two things, either controlling the scarcity, the chips, the funding, the core infrastructure, or conquering the ubiquity, getting AI seamlessly into your daily workflow onto your device.
Control versus ubiquity. It's a battle playing out on those two distinct fronts. And you get the sense the ultimate winners might need to master both, bridging that powerful cloud with really smooth, useful edge computing.
That seems likely. Which leads to maybe a final thought for you to chew on after this deep dive. Looking at this week's news, which strategic bet looks stronger in the long run? Is it the player going all in on massive cloud centralization and custom hardware to hit that trillion-dollar mark, like OpenAI seems to be? Or is it the player pushing aggressively for powerful, private, on-device AI, deeply integrated into the user experience, like Apple or even NVIDIA, enabling that with Spark? Where does the true lasting advantage lie? That fundamental tension, cloud versus edge, centralization versus democratization, that's what's going to shape the AI story for the next few years.